Hello, you beautiful, beautiful soul. Today I wanted to talk about the last couple of plant medicine journeys that I've had with the mushroom, so psilocybin. And the reason that I wanted to talk about these is because they are so very different, but yet so quite healing, quite profoundly healing in their own ways, right? And I was talking about this with my best friend on my a previous journey that I'd had about how I felt that it was quite underwhelming, yet the underwhelming experience gave me 3 direct messages that I needed to change in my life. So ultimately, one of the things was to spend more quality time watching movies and quality time with my little man. I tend to not like to watch TV at all. So it's really beautiful to be able to get such a clear message from the beautiful mushroom, as well as the interconnectedness and the feeling and everything as well that comes with a beautiful mushroom journey. And if you are watching this and you haven't had plant medicine before, it can be quite profound, and even speaking into these journeys is very underwhelming, I guess you could say. It's not a human language that we can really speak about, right? Especially the last journey that I had, which was quite profound. But I really wanted to speak into an underwhelming experience. So I'm not going to speak about dosages because everyone's different, and what you could have for, say, for example, a level 5 experience, you may have with a lower dose. And then with a higher dose, you might have a lower level 1 or level 2 experience. I don't know how this works, right? But I trust that it's the spirit of the plant that is working with you, with where you're at in your life, on your journey, and the lessons that you really need. So for example, with one of my previous journeys, I thought that I was going to go in my shadows and I was going to uncover all this darkness and all this scariness, just what I thought is what I wanted. I was like, I want to heal this trauma. And I went into it and I had the most beautiful experience. It was so outward focused, I'd try and put my eye mask on to go inwards, and I would get these visions, but then I'd take my eye mask off and I would feel so interconnected with nature and beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did go through a couple of experiences that were quite challenging, discomfort in being really cold. But majority of it was just really beautiful. So I really feel that speaking into this is really important to understand, especially if you're new to the plant medicine world, or even if you've got 100 journeys that you've done, right? It doesn't matter, but it's really important to understand that every journey is going to be different and every journey is going to be perfect, exactly as it's meant to be, right? Plant medicine is not for everyone, and let's put a disclaimer here. I'm not saying that plant medicine is going to heal you and it's going to be the only modality to heal traumas or dis-ease in the body. But for me, it has been a huge part of my healing, especially over the past 12 months, a little bit less, I think now. At the moment that I've been using plant medicine along with other modalities that I use, like breath work. I do a lot of shamanic work, shamanic drumming, journeys, meditation, a lot of time in nature. I do a lot of shadow work with myself and my clients as well, and really tapping into that spirituality and deep inner healing through embodiment practices, through dance, movement, moving the energy work. I do that as well. So plant medicine's never the answer. It's I use it as a tool to go in to find, that's what I need. That's where I need to look at. And then I can then integrate that and take that time to really allow the lessons and the teachings to be present. Now, in the last journey that I had, it was really fucking profound. Like, it was like going into an ayahuasca ceremony. Like, it was full on. And you know what's really interesting is that the morning of my journey, I committed to and paid the deposit for an ayahuasca retreat, like a ceremony that's going to be like a 4-day ceremony that I'll be doing in about 3 months. And when you commit to a journey, the spirit of the plant will start working with you pretty much straight away. And that's my intake, and that's how it's worked for me. Whether it be with psilocybin or whether it be with ayahuasca, they're the only 2 plant medicines at this point that I have used on my healing journey, right? And it's interesting because when I started to feel the effects of the mushroom, like I literally felt Mama Aya there as well. And it's like they were both kind of like working together. It was really profound. It was really profound. And yeah, it's hard to explain, but I really trust that that's actually what was happening. But the mushroom was so gentle to start with. Like it was really easing me in, this gentle process. And I had so much happening. Like I literally had majority of the time it was like a level 4 experience, but I did have like a level 5 experience throughout it as well, which I've never had before. Like I actually, even in ayahuasca, I never had that. Like I'd open my eyes and I knew where I was and I knew who I was. But there was times in this journey that I didn't know where the fuck I was, who the fuck I was, what was even real, whether my, excuse me, whether my eye mask was on or my eye mask was off. Everything was just everywhere. There were like geometry everywhere. Everything was completely warping. It was like in this complete new dimension. Like I'd open my eyes and what I thought was the physical was like the non-physical. And I know this probably doesn't make a lot of sense if you haven't had a journey like this before or if you haven't journeyed before, but it was really profound, really profound. And I can really see how people go into these high-level experiences and not really get many lessons or not really understand the lessons in these experiences, right? Because there's so much happening. Like you can see, feel, be, in, know, like you just, whoa, like everything is happening at once. It's hard to kind of like pinpoint one thing that's happening. You know, for me, I'm a really big journaler. I journal a lot when I'm in ceremony and out of ceremony. Like I write things down, draw a quick picture, come back, do a video after my journeys. Helps me with my integration and helps with the remembering. But through this experience, it was so dark. And it wasn't even necessarily dark, but it was like heavy. It was so heavy. There's so much grief. There's so much pain. And so much trauma had come up from this inner child in me that has been hiding and running away from me since she was her age. And I got the message the next day that she's around the age of 8, anywhere between 8 and 10. And I looked back on my life about the things that were happening around that age, and I didn't quite know exactly what it was, because you see, in my life, in my childhood, I experienced a lot of trauma, like a lot of trauma. And I've worked through a lot of it, but there is so much there still yet that I get to work through, which is beautiful, right? Because I get to heal for not only myself, but heal for my lineage and my ancestors, heal for the collective, and heal for my children, which is really, really important to me. And that's why this work is really important to me. And that's part of the reason that I use plant medicines, because they take you to a place that you don't even fucking know is there. Like you don't know that that's there anymore because you've suppressed it so much. For me, I'd suppressed this so much that like I knew that the peace was there. Like, I knew that the memory was there, but I didn't have any association to it. Or I didn't have any association to that version of me, that inner child of me. I've done a lot of work with my inner child, my inner children, right? And, my 16-year-old self has been showing up a lot recently. And all of these other different parts and versions and inner children of mine, right? But this particular time frame, she was hiding. And I had a lot of grief to feel. And it's really interesting because my ego was so scared. She was just like, we don't want to do this. We're not doing this. Can we just stop now? Can we stop? But it's like, when you're in that submarine and you're down in that water, there's no fucking coming back. Like, you've got no choice but to feel it, whether you're going to resist it or not. If you resist it, it's just going to be harder. So like, I just remember like holding myself and breathing and saying things to myself like, you're okay, you're alive, you're going to be okay. Just surrender into the moment, just feel it. But like, it was coming out from everywhere. Like, I was crying and crying and crying so much that I even had stopped crying, but my eyes were just still like weeping. Like, I had so much grief to feel from this version of my inner child that I had no idea what was going on. Like, I'd go to get up to go to the toilet and I didn't even know if I needed to go. I'd like push on my bladder and I'd be like, do I need to go? I think I do. And every time I would get up to go to the toilet, I would feel energetically that I was letting go, that I was purging this water from my body, this energy of the grief from that little girl, from that inner child. There was a time that I was like coughing so hard that I thought my throat was gonna burst. And I had no idea that I could have this kind of experience with psilocybin. Because in my mind, with the knowledge that I know and the experience that I've had before, these kind of experiences happen with like an ayahuasca ceremony, the purge of the body. But the mushroom knew that I needed this to set me up for my next journeys in 3 months, right? And for whatever reason, I needed to feel that. And the beautiful thing about feeling all of that pain and discomfort and grief and trauma and moving through that, through my body, is that I actually don't feel that anymore when I look back at my 8 to 10-year-old self. It's gone. It's like completely gone. And that's the beauty of it, a really challenging experience. Because although it can be challenging at that moment, at that time, on the other side, it's really fucking beautiful. Really beautiful. I always say to my clients, I'm like, you've got to go into the shadows. We've got to go into the shadows and into the darkness and feel. We don't try to change it. We just sit with it. We feel it. And then we expand it bigger and bigger and bigger and feel it even more and more and more. And then slowly afterwards, it will start to dissipate. That's what it does. And in this particular journey that I had, it was quite extreme. And the next morning when I got up and I had a little cacao ceremony, did like a little ritual, just sat. I felt so much heaviness and sadness and sorrow in my body. I just sat, looked out at the forest, watching the rain. It was pouring. And then I just connected back to that inner child and grieved more and more and more, all throughout pretty much the whole of the next day, just grieving and grieving and grieving. And then towards the end of the day, I ended up moving the energy through my body and coming back into a state of pleasure. And how I did that was by dance, gentle movements, hand on heart, hand on womb space or pelvic bowl, belly, just dancing around, moving the energy, allowing the energy to be free from my body. And then I had a gentle bath because water is the rebirth. And then the next day, I was still feeling a little bit heavy, but a lot lighter and much more interconnected. So sometimes these journeys can last for a few days. I know for me this time it did. It was very big. But now I have all of this incredible knowledge. Like, I gained so much from this experience, but even from the experience that I had prior to that, which some would say it was underwhelming. You know, I was having a conversation with a lady that I know a little while ago, and she was just like, you know, my friend was telling me all this amazing stuff about it, and then I went for a journey. It was so underwhelming. And it's because you're not looking for the message, right? You have this expectation, or she had this expectation of this huge, wild, like level 5 experience, life-changing experience. But she didn't have the tools and the resources to understand what those experiences were. And there would have been lessons there, whether they were visions or not, right? Just like in my previous experience of mine. So I ask that if you are going to journey, go in with no expectation. But open your heart to allow the messages to come through, because there will be messages. There always is messages. But are you quiet enough to hear them? Because it's like sitting in ceremony, right? You sit in ceremony and you want to talk with your guides. You have to get still. You have to get quiet. You have to go in. Because they only whisper very quietly. If you're so busy and full of life and living in your masculine container, or like a toxic masculine container, and go all the time, you're probably not going to get the same experiences that, say, for example, I get, right? Whether it's a level 5 experience or whether it's a level 1 experience. And the beautiful thing about the mushroom is it comes in waves. So it's never just like a full-blown level 5 experience and a level 1 only. Like, it'll come and go in waves. You'll get like level 5, level 4, level 3, level 2, level 5, level 2, level 1, level 4, level 3. Like, it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's very different to, like, say, for example, ayahuasca. If you're in an ayahuasca ceremony, it's just like, poof, you're level 5, you're staying at level 5. You get up and get the toilet, and that's okay. You come back, you get that blindfold back on, that's it. You're straight back into level 5. It's like boom, 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 boom. Mama Aya's like, you've got some shit to move through, and we're moving through it now. Whereas the mushroom's a little bit more gentle. It's a little bit more gentle. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am gonna start doing a lot more videos based on plant medicine and my journeys. But I'm also going to be doing a lot more videos on spirituality and the things that are really important to me, the things that I teach and that I love and that I would love to get out to the world for free. Some of the experiences that I have in meditations and journeys are really profound, and it's like going into a plant medicine journey. And it's because I'm quite connected, and I want to be able to share that with you on this channel. It's something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I just haven't honored the time to do that. So thank you so much for watching this. I trust that it inspired you in one way or another, or at least taught you something. I love you.